Look at this. Can you see this?
Is that your filing system?
Yeah. I wish I had somebody that was younger and I could send it all to.
Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Are any of them interested?
Not a one.
That's my cousin. He's an upbeat guy. He isn't complaining, but this is a familiar conversation for so many of us who love family history. We pour our hearts into this research, and it can sometimes feel like such a solitary pursuit. We have all this amazing information, but we worry. What's the point if nobody in the family seems to care? So let me take you back to 1989.
Who's that little girl right there?
Hold it up a little higher. Oh, yeah, that's me.
I'm at home. I've got a cup of coffee in one hand, and I've got a kid in my lap, and I'm flipping through a magazine called Everton's Genealogical Helper. In the back, they have these sections. They're like classified ads for ancestors. I'm looking for anything that mentions the few ancestors that I know of. I'm expecting to be disappointed, as usual, but wait, who is this? It's my great-great-grandmother. I almost spill coffee all over the magazine. The ad was just a single line submitted by a cousin that I'd never met. Her name was Gretchen, and I will never forget Gretchen. Gretchen sent her family names to the root cellar, having no idea who might find them. She could have sat back and grumbled that the younger generation doesn't care, but instead, she put her research out there, and I found her. I sent her a letter, and over the next decade, she answered my mail, sent me photos, and she shared all sorts of family information. She taught me the basics of research, and she filled in huge pieces of my family tree. She was my mentor. And this idea of leaving clues for others to find, it's a timeless tradition. Long before the internet, people were using print. The Boston Evening Transcript newspaper had a genealogy column that ran from, I think, about 1906 through 1941, something like that. And it's estimated that by the end, it had listed more than 2 million ancestor names that people were looking for or contributing information about. People would send in inquiries, and then the next time people would send in answers to those inquiries. Let's look at one here. This is from November 1915. Can anyone give me information about William Foy, Salem, Massachusetts, 1760? And you can see there's all sorts of others here in the same issue. After the paper came the magazines like Everton's, and then the first online communities started popping up. Now, this was back before the World Wide Web. You'd dial up on the modem. You'd actually take your telephone, you'd dial up, and it would make that noise. And then you'd set your phone down into the modem ears. It had ears. You'd set your phone down into it, and then it would connect, and then you'd be dialed up to a bulletin board system like Prodigy or CompuServe, and then you could send messages back and forth that way. That was all before the World Wide Web was really a thing. Maybe a few people had email, but mostly not yet. So sharing your information was a little more challenging than it is now, but people still did it. And you can do it today. I mean, the alternative is to give up because, these darn kids just want to watch that TikTok thing and play those games, right? So they aren't going to listen to my stories anyway. I might as well just give up. You can be that way if you want, or you can be the next Gretchen. Here are 3 really great places where you can share your information today. First, you can add your research to Family Search, Family Tree, or WikiTree, or biographical information and stories to memorial sites like Find a Grave. Second, you can use community forums like the forums on Ancestry.com, where there are free message boards and you can post queries about ancestors, or you can look for where other people are asking questions and you can answer them, just like they did in the Boston Transcript 100 years ago. Third, think creatively. Does your mother have a bunch of recipes? You could publish those in a blog and tell her story. or your grandfather's artwork, or whatever it is you have to share. Just make sure and include their names so that they're discoverable later. You may never know who finds your research. Gretchen didn't know I was out there when she placed her ad in the root cellar all those years ago. She just had faith and put her work out into the world.
Because I've got in my ancestry, the tree
Yeah.
is like tens of thousands of people.
And there's a lot of exciting stuff in there. It's just how do you get the next generations excited about it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to know more about how to look at those old Boston Transcript ads, I'll give you a link with instructions down in the show notes. That's kind of fun. It's not a primary source, but it can give you a lot of interesting hints. And let me know in the comments, what information have you been collecting that you're ready to share? And where do you think you'd like to share it? Down in the comments, let me know.